Today's debate finals, will undoubtedly see the success of one team. But then, the theme being what it is obvious that both teams would emerge as winners. I'm sure. There will be issues highlighted that will be professionally highly relevant to you in your future fields of expertise. If nothing else, your participation in this Inter-College Challenge Cup debate competition will have brought home to you the importance of being serviceable to this nation by being serviceable to your fellow sisters. Community service, good and responsible citizenship, concern for the downtrodden, especially for those women who would not have had the same life chances as you. These are some of the elements of public and common weal that I would wish you to embrace to make your future lives and those of the women of this country more meaningful. In fact, I would love to see the National Women's Council taking the opportunity to organize a young women's caucus, so as to tap the creative views of this young generation that is before us today, and you will always rely on the help of my ministry for this to succeed. Dear students, on an occasion when we are celebrating the independence of our beloved nation, I take comfort from the fact that you will all develop a social conscience that will give a fillip to your patriotic fervor. So I wish you well, I thank you all for your attention, and I wish that all of us be winners this morning. Thank you very much indeed.
I'm very pleased to be in your midst this morning for the finals of this first edition of the Inter-College Challenger Debate Competition, which is being organized jointly by the National Women's Council and the Ministry of Gender Equality, Child Development and Family Welfare. In fact, this debate competition fits within the broader context of the continued implementation of what we have named the strategic framework entitled, in fact, Young Women Advocating for Gender Equality for the period 2013-2015. I must tell you that this framework was elaborated jointly as a joint project from my ministry and the National Women's Council, but it was elaborated by young girls such as yourselves. The strategic document was, in fact, launched last year by the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Navin Chandraramgulam himself on the occasion of the International Women's Day. And here we are a year later organizing activities around this same strategic framework. In fact, the measures contained therein, and I would encourage all of you to know it better, they seek inter alia to mobilize young girls, such as yourselves, youth clubs and NGOs, including young women's associations, to ensure the sustainability of reflection and action on women's rights issues. Because globally and locally, there are new challenges which are unfolding regarding women's empowerment and gender equality. Through this specific strategic framework, my ministry and the National Women's Council aim at, in fact, reinforcing the social, economic and political empowerment of women, starting with girls and young women at a very early age. As you are all aware, Mauritius celebrated the International Women's Day 5 days ago. That was on the 8th of March. And the theme retained this year, how many of you know which theme we retained this year? Yes, very good. It's inspiring change. And during his intervention that day, the Honorable Prime Minister elaborated on many obstacles that are faced by women and girls. And he strongly, in fact, advocated for a change in mindset at all levels, calling for continued strong actions towards advancing women's rights and their empowerment. And I would go on to add and say that, in fact, those changes can only happen if you are all fully involved in them. And my ministry, as the national gender machinery, has a mandate to address women's issues and their empowerment. But that is also cross-cutting. and the Ministry of Education has a very important role to play as well. The objective of the national gender machinery is to make Mauritius a gender-inclusive and equitable society. And today's Challenge Cup debate competition is another initiative in that spirit. This debate competition, in fact, wants to incite young girls such as yourself to grasp the challenges regarding women's empowerment and emerge as leaders in areas of interventions which you will have chosen and which are underscored in the strategic framework. For your information, I will just spell them out. They are the gender equality issues and economic empowerment of women, which is one area, the political empowerment of women, second area, social empowerment of women, third one, sexual and reproductive health and HIV/AIDS, the fourth one, and gender-based violence being the fifth one. In fact, out of 116 girls' colleges which we contacted, 45 positively responded to the invitation to participate in this competition. And it is my hope that with the popularity that we aim to achieve with this type of competition, that more and more year by year will find a larger number of girl students and girls from girl colleges coming and participating in this debate. And here I appeal to the Minister of Education also, so that maybe next year we could collaborate much more together to make sure that this is a larger success. But I would from the outset congratulate all the representatives of the different institutions who have taken part in this initiative. I hope it is to be one of many, many more. And because this year you will be recognized and remembered as one of the pioneers in the advocacy of women's empowerment within the school environment. And I congratulate all of you for that. You can applaud yourselves. And as regards the specific thematics regrouped in the strategic framework, I'm informed that the gender equality issues and economic empowerment of women received 16 entries, political empowerment of women 7, social empowerment of women 6, sexual and reproductive health and HIV/AIDS 8, and gender-based violence 7 entries, which would in fact aim to indicate that gender equality issues and economic empowerment is very much of larger interest. But for this competition, I'm given to understand that the mentors in each thematic area carried out a working session with all of you, and the students were provided with the basic indications, tools, skills, knowledge and materials to facilitate the participation in this debate. I must commend all the mentors, even though they're not here, for their laudable efforts and their expert advice tendered. I'm informed that the preliminaries for colleges and listed under thematic areas sexual and reproductive health and HIV and gender-based violence could not be held because of the early termination of classes on the 11th of March. And we have therefore postponed those competitions for an ulterior date. However, the preliminaries for the other 3 teams have been held, and we're now left with the 2 best teams in each area of intervention, the first group of which you can see sitting here. And I'm looking, in fact, forward to the ensuing debates. I'm sure you all are. And dear participants, the winning team will be rewarded with a token prize and books. The Challenge Cup of the different thematic areas will go to the winning school and will be put at stake again next year. So you can also enter next year and hope to keep your Challenge Cup. I congratulate the finalists, girls from Queen Elizabeth College, Dr. Maurice Curie College, Pai State Secondary School, Belrose State Secondary School, Quartier Militaire State Secondary School, and Universal College. My congratulations also go to all the participants, as Dr. Benoit had mentioned, at the different stages of the competition. Because, in fact, the primary objective of this debate is to help you become fully empowered in the areas of the 5 thematics under the strategic framework. And in that sense, I think personally that all participants are winners. Ladies and gentlemen, young women and girls, particularly student girls, have a major role to play in women's empowerment. They are called upon to bring about effective and sustainable change for a gender-balanced society. They are called upon also to be inspiring to others and help change for a more positive and gender-balanced society. It is, in fact, my earnest wish that this debate competition acts as a catalyst for young girl students to reflect on ways and means to implement sustainable actions on women's rights issues. Women need to act for the construction of a society where there is fairness and equity in the treatment of both men and women, and in terms of rights, benefits, obligation and opportunities. To end, let me extend also my sincere gratitude to the members of the jury who have supported this program since day one of the preliminaries, and allow me also to wish all the women and girls here a happy belated International Women's Day. On this note, I thank you for your attention and wish you all good luck for the debate, and may the best teams win.
The chairperson, members of the jury, dear proponents and charming audience present here, greeting from PI SSS team. Our motion now today is, should there be more women in politics? And we are strongly in favor of this statement. Stating the obvious would be an insult towards all women. Our women have full right to become actively involved in all areas of public life, and this right must be affirmed and guaranteed. Women have the right and duty to take part in the political and administrative work of our country. Women in most societies have been discriminated against in making meaningful contribution to national development through participation in political life. Many people, including our dear opponents, still believe that women cannot perform competently in the same way as men in politics. This has led to some people never voting for women as leaders. This deprives society of the talent to really promote integral development. In the last general election held in our country in 2010, both major alliances present more female candidates, and this is no better testimony to indicate the eagerness of the authority to include more women in political arena. For us to have good election, it requires intelligent and responsible participation of all citizens. Men and women have the same political rights. Then why? Why should women have lesser participation in politics? Women, men, are excelling in diverse sectors, namely the education sector and in politics. We have the legendary politicians such as Indira Gandhi and Margaret Thatcher. These days we have seen the achievement of the charismatic Aung San Suu Kyi. Female empowerment begins with having more women in politics. Women need to play an active part in decision taking, and therefore, what better sphere in that in politics? So far, power, and more precisely, political power, has been known to be corrupt. Why? Because so far there have been more men dominating the political world. With more female politicians, the political landscape is more likely to change, and there will be a decline in corruption. Lastly, every country deserves to have the best possible leader, and that means that women have to be given a chance to compete. If they're never allowed to compete in the electoral process, then countries are really robbing themselves of a great deal of talent. Thank you for your kind attention.
Now I'm going to invite the first speaker of the opposing team from Belrose Society.
Good morning, everyone, members of the jury, my friends of the Queen team. Everyone know our topic today is whether there should be more women in politics. Well, we are against this idea, as we are not interested to have lots of women in politics, but we want to have the right quantity of representatives to fight for the cause and for the rights of women. And why not men? They can also be of great help. Statistics show that in Rwanda, that is the country having the highest number of women in politics, around 63%, well, it is surely having a very good economic stability. But it is a densely populated country of poverty. Okay, forget poverty because it's not our topic today. But can anyone tell me why the rape of minors are in such an alarming situation? And the majority of the perpetrators are the ones who are supposed to protect these people. And more, physical violence against women is 83% of the national territory. Can you believe it? 83%? Coming back to why not men? Why can't women and men work on equal grounds? Women, well, I understand that sometimes only women can understand a woman fully. Well, I think that we need only a few women who have the correct knowledge, the correct power to deal with such things. If ever these women feel that they need workforce to handle a particular situation, I think they can, I'm sure that they can make great use of the men workforce. Well, to end up, I would like to ask that, who guarantees us that if there's a lot of women in politics, that the situation will surely have to be improved? No one says that. Well, my second speaker will later talk a bit about the quota system. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I now invite the second speaker of the proposing team to refute the argument.
When the second speaker speaks, he must or she must emphasize on the arguments brought forward by the opposing team, and this is where she is assessed completely on her rebuttal skills. Don't come with counter arguments already prepared. Second thing is, when you do the summing up, don't add any new argument. According to the rules of a debate, when you do the summing up, you just summarize what has been said by the first speaker, by the second speaker, and by the third speaker. And nothing new should be added. But there are so many things that can be added. But nevertheless, as I said, it has been a marvelous experience for us. And therefore, I end it on this note. Please, I apologize, don't take me wrong, if I have brought up, together with my colleagues, members of the jury, concerning the debating skills. Okay, it's only by, what can we say, by highlighting the pros that we can progress so that next year this inter-debate competition between the colleges is still better. Thank you for your kind.
Et l'objectif c'était aussi de faire réfléchir les jeunes filles par rapport à un challenge qui est là, par rapport à atteindre l'égalité du genre dans la société haïtienne. Nous connaissons soit inspiring change justement pour nous inspirer le changement auprès de Bandimoun qui a un rôle à jouer dans l'avenir et dans le présent pour changer la réalité sociale de Maurice pour faire en sorte qu'il y ait une liste équilibrée. Et aujourd'hui nous trouvons la perspective d'un étudiant qui se pensait, qui manière se trouve à faire pour penser que tout Bandimoun est là, il trouve quelque chose d'assez intéressant qui est émergé. Et nous encourageons à la direction de l'année prochaine, nous pourrons un challenge comme vous, donc l'année prochaine, nous espérons qu'il y ait encore plus d'étudiants pour participer parce qu'il y a 45 ans de cette année-là. l'année prochaine, nous allons encore plus style de l'année.
Et vous, personnellement, que pensez-vous de l'appuiement politique?
Moi, je dis aujourd'hui, moi, pour de là, parce qu'aujourd'hui, c'est les étudiants qui passent en avant, c'est pas moi.
Dans le livre, pour moi dire, mon réveil là, les life skills que vous avez développés, quand je suis à l'école, de pouvoir dire capable d'amener la société mauricienne, parce qu'il s'agit de ça pour l'instant. C'est seulement dans le monde aussi, de vous amener meilleur.
Et ça laisse ça que les activités curriculaires.
Et dans déjà mais nous pouvons mettre une petite spécialisation pour ça termine sur le là, parce qu'il y a chaque année là.
Le débat,
le women empowerment et une compétition parce qu'à ce moment il y a plus de quand on fait un niveau ou donne un thème ou des al c'est ça qui fait la beauté de là.
Et nous trouvons aussi